Hey guys, welcome to another MoFo Minute Plus. Alright. Today I'd like to reflect a bit on the comic Parallel. In my last vid, I mentioned how one of my favorite aspects of social media is the discovery of artists and writers I would be otherwise unaware of. And that's certainly the case with the writer involved with the subject of this vid. But how I became aware is pretty interesting. A few years back, I attended a New York Comic Con panel where Casey Pierce, the writer of the foreword of this comic, was speaking about how comic creators could utilize social media to promote their work and themselves. And oddly enough, I had just joined Instagram and Twitter that very week to do just that. So her talk at that panel was pretty significant to me and continues to be in regards to how I operate online with my comic, Gnarly Science, and these vids. Casey and I started following each other on Instagram, and through her, I discovered the publisher of her very rad comic, Nora, Source Point Press, and Jason Douglas, the writer of Parallel, which is also published by Source Point Press. It would be sort of silly of me to attribute to fate my attendance of that Comic-Con panel, leading me to making this vid about Parallel, given the context of the comic, which is very much about how the choices we make direct our lives. The story involves a musician who, while in his 20s, falls in love and gets hitched and makes the choice to put his music career aside to more comfortably slide into domestic bliss. Well, turns out to be less than blissful. He ends up in a gig he hates, and his marriage becomes increasingly more loveless as time goes on. It all comes quite literally crashing to a halt as he encounters a parallel version of himself, a version that has made different choices in his life. I initially got heavy Fight Club vibes from the story, which makes sense. They both feature protagonists that are suffering sort of numbing despair and have their lives and perspectives altered and seemingly directed by shadowy outside forces. But that's where the similarities end. Parallel is very much a unique sci-fi tale, one that resonated with me perhaps more than I am comfortable with. That uncomfortableness is a testament to the great writing of Mr. Douglas. Sometimes great writing and art should make you uncomfortable. It should make you feel. You want to talk about parallels? I was once a musician in my 20s, recording music, playing shows, engaged to a girl that I loved. But in the end, I wasn't sure about any of it, and I made some choices. Choices that didn't make my life easier, but they did lead to Gnarly Science, which in turn led to me making this vid talking to you about a rad comic. So something was right about those choices, but still, this comic kind of hit me with some body blows, or rather headshots, that I'm still kind of reeling from. It kind of stung. About this, I'm certain. I'm all the more grateful for artistic expression, whether it's my own or if I'm receiving it from others. When someone's artistic expression hits home, uh, well, you've just become part of a successful, almost supernatural transaction. Um, the creators involved with this comic put their expressions on the page, and in another time and space, I received those expressions and was affected by them, which is pretty profound. There you have the considerable power of art in full effect. Speaking of art, I've talked a bit about the writing, but this being a comic, of course, that's only half the battle. Pardon the pun, but the art perfectly parallels the great writing. Adam Ferris captures the isolation, paranoia, and regret the main character is feeling, as well as any words do, in beautiful, stark, black and white art, which is also something that I touched on in my last vid. Parallels, people, parallels. Anyway, the whole team did such a bang up job, resulting in just another killer title from SourcePoint, who have put out a slew of stellar titles, like Nora, which I will also be reflecting on in an upcoming vid. Just still have to reconcile all the thoughts about that in my head. But I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, that's it for now. Oh, really quick. Anyone who has bought like gnarly merch recently, I don't always know who is buying it. But if by chance you have recently and you're watching this, thank you so much. Means the world to me. Believe me. Okay, so I'll be back in a few days with a reflection on a game. So hopefully you can check that out. Cool. Be good, guys. Be seeing you. Peace.